I'm Ben Ransom. I'm from St. Paul, Minnesota, and I own Lanona Shoe Company here in Lowertown. I had a project before Lanona called Analog Hero, and that was kind of a creative outlet for me. I was working a full-time corporate job, and Analog Hero was basically I wanted to do something with e-commerce and gadgets. I like photography, I like cameras, just old stuff. So I put a bunch of stuff on this e-commerce site called Analog Hero. I saw some success through there, not necessarily enough to live off of, but yeah, it was cool to see some feedback on something that just kind of sprouted from your mind. Ultimately, it wasn't something I was really passionate in or saw I could scale bigger than what I was currently doing. So I kind of took a break on that and focused on more full-time job stuff, and then kind of recreated what I was interested in and came up with Lanona Shoe Company. The Lanona name actually comes from a business my great-grandfather ran down near Winona, Minnesota, and it was called the Lanona Lodge. And I wanted to basically, when we started our company, pull from a name that was, meaningful to my story and our heritage, and that's what we came up with. Started out, I wanted to get into leather goods. I wanted to promote American made, and somehow just shoes in general seemed to fit a niche in what I was interested in. So I reached out to some local shoe repair shops that had machines that could at least stitch the leather and put shoes together. They didn't necessarily have like the lasts or some other machines, but surprisingly, a lot of them weren't interested in making shoes. So I kind of broadened my search to partner with someone, and that search led me to this shoemaker in Miami, and he was making shoes out of his garage. And that was over 2.5 years ago I met with him. So it's progressed. And we launched Lanona less than a year ago. So before we launched, it was a lot of, testing samples, learning how to make shoes, so I could at least talk the talk a bit, and just getting to know the industry a bit, even though it's been a pretty steep learning curve. But I've always been, learned by example. So doing it and being with a shoemaker and seeing like from start to finish how the shoe is put together was extremely helpful with, building confidence in myself to actually, allocate all of my time into a company and quitting my job and going full-time with a startup. I kind of sacrificed some of the creativity, some of the drive with working full-time in an industry that I wasn't necessarily passionate with, but I drew from that work experience as far as business. So I think, there is a bit of a romance as far as starting a business. Like I can just quit everything and go and do this idea that I have. But for me, it was definitely years in the making. Some people think, it's scary to start a company, but a lot of the story that they don't hear is how much back end people are working on it and before they actually make the leap. So there was a sense of, there wasn't really any nerves or anything like that. So it's been a good progression so far. Lanona is basically right now an extension of myself. So I wanted to make products and sell products that I would use myself and get really excited about. So in that sense, I guess it's just, what I've been around, what I've used in the past. And I've always, I guess, been drawn to creativity and good design and everything like that. Everything really is like a first generation of what we've designed. And with our boots and shoes, we want to be offering those models for as long as we operate. So, and then just expand on that style. We like the stability of a product and being able to say, we worked a lot researching and testing this design and pattern, and we're going to offer that as long as we can. So here it is, you know. Beyond boots, we are involved in making some other accessories for Lanona, and it's mainly when I started Lanona, our core is footwear, boots, and shoes, but I wanted the brand to be a creative outlet for us. You know, I didn't want to be pigeonholed for one thing. So these hats are one example of that. Here in Minneapolis, St. Paul, there's a lot of people doing cool things. You know, there's some great businesses, great startups. It's a good environment to run a business. People are really supportive. And, you know, even now there's even more of a movement of supporting local brands. It's good to say that we're based in St. Paul in Minnesota. Yeah, I'm proud to say that. As far as advice is, I was working full time, but also, you know, allocating time when you're at home or over the weekends to be creative, look into what you want to do, try new things. You know, there's a ton of classes to attend, to be like making things or just networking with people. So just keep going, for sure.